All right. It is Thursday afternoon. That means it is time for CRL Chart Request Live. Usually you're stuck with Patrick and Straza. Straza being in Asia, you're stuck with me. Pat, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing fantastic. Long time no see. Last time we saw each other was last night at the Chart Report live evening hangout session. If you missed it, too bad. You have to wait for the next one.
That was a good time, and
Yep.
thank you for everyone for showing up.
All right, you know the drill by now. The whole point of this show is you give us tickers, we give you charts. We already have a few people that emailed us. If you want to cut the line, email us. It's the best way to do so. Questions at stockmarketmedia.com. Here we go. Let's start with Joby Aviation. This one is from Ben. Ben notes that Joby is pushing up against the IPO price resistance. It's got mild short interest, 16%. So yeah, not nothing, but not high. And big volume off the lows. He's looking for blue sky above. I don't know if that was a pun intended or not, but we seems like we talk about this stock every week.
Do you on the show? I mean, this one showed up on our buzz scan not too long ago, so it's certainly getting a lot of attention, and I can see why. I mean, it's really surged in the last few weeks. So in the last 9 weeks, it's up. It went up as much as over 200%. But all this started, and I'll get to where it's going, but all this started after it broke out from this downtrend. You could either draw it like that, or we'll draw it like this. And then it also started from a fail breakdown here. So you can see, I mean, you know what they say about fail breakdowns. Out of fail moves come fast moves in the opposite direction. You can see broke these 2022 lows in January, and then just once it reclaimed them, boom, massive move. You know, I don't know exactly what was going on over here. I don't know if it was a SPAC or what, but you got to imagine there's probably
it was a SPAC, yes.
Okay, yeah, you got to imagine there's a lot of price memory there from the IPO, like you said, and it is struggling there to surpass that. So I wouldn't be a new buyer here if you're not already. If you were long already, congratulations, that's awesome. But I mean, this thing's up a lot and it could pull back sharply here. So I would rather be a buyer, pull back to like 750.
Here's one from Thabo. I hope I'm saying that right. We talked about the metals and mining ETF, Pat, on Tuesday, and
Yeah.
Thabo I guess was watching. It was like, well, I see your metals and mining ETF. I forget what the ticker was. Maybe you remember, but I raise you PICK. This is
Okay.
I guess a more concentrated mining play.
Oh, wow.
I've never heard of this one before. That doesn't mean
iShares
anything.
MSCI Global Selects Metals and Mining. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. This one looks very similar to XME in terms of that consolidation pattern that we had here. This is XME. And
Right.
sorry, this one is PIX. PI.
Yep, PICK. That's the one.
Yeah, so you see that similar
Oh,
consolidation.
they're identical.
Yeah, they very much are. Do you mind if I jump out of TradingView for a second and we
Yeah.
could look at some of the components?
Yeah, I can do that right now on my end as well.
Okay.
So we can actually compare them. There's a nifty little tool.
What do you use?
I use Verify. Well, it's ETF database. Now it's called Verify, but I like that one. And you use Koifin, I see.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So tell me what the other ticker was.
There was XME and there's PIC.
XME.
So you look up XME.
Okay. I'm going to compare them both right now. So, they're very similar in size. Interesting. As far as holdings go, XME only has 34 holdings. PIC has 263.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Almost 300.
Pick has a lot more exposure to Rio Tinto. That's the second largest holding. BHP.
BHP, yeah, BHP is a
BHP is the
massive
largest
one, right?
holding.
For having
Yeah.
300 components and then just one is worth 13%. That's kind of silly.
So XME, the thing about XME is it's only North, Central, and South America, and PIC is much more global. It's
Oh,
41%,
okay.
41% Asia Pacific, 26% Europe.
And
Um,
volume, what does average daily volume say for you?
what
Yeah,
is
volume's a little light, but
what is the volume? Average daily volume on which one? On PIC? Yeah,
pick, yeah.
it's very light, 275,000 shares. It's
Yeah.
extreme. Um,
So
but
for
PIC,
that
but
reason,
yeah, PIC is a global play.
yeah, it sounds a lot more diversified. And even though it's heavily weighted to that BHP, or that's a real outlier in terms of weighting, the rest of it's probably pretty diversified and pretty equally weighted. But in terms of liquidity, that is a pretty big difference in liquidity. So I would probably prefer XME, but this is an interesting one to keep an eye on for sure. And I'm glad you brought it up. Whoever brought that one to the table here. Similar to XME, just kind of like consolidating, not too much. Looks like the last few days have gotten quite a pickup here. But I would wait for it to break the upper bounds of that consolidation pattern there before getting involved.
Let's look at Square here for Gerbier. I hope I'm saying that right, Gerbier. If anyone's name I butcher, I preemptively apologize. But Square, which was another pandemic darling, and is come way off its highs, hasn't come back that much. I feel like.
Yeah, it really hasn't made some like a comeback like some of these other ones, but you're seeing a lot of Kathy's stocks making a comeback this week.
It's true.
We talked about ARC F, I think, last time, and I
Yeah.
believe Square. I would be shocked if it wasn't in ARC F. I'm pretty sure it is.
No, it is. No, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So coming out of this downtrend, that's kind of step one, right? In a reversal. Then forming a nice little base. So that's kind of step two. It's almost completed that base. I would consider a completion like a close above like 90, 93, 94.
93, 94.
Yeah, so if you draw that in, but it's working in the right direction. Looks like even especially the last few days also getting a pickup along with those other ARC stocks and just the broader market in general. It seems like a lot of these really beaten down stocks have gotten some reprieve, and maybe it's a short squeeze, who knows? But
Actually, this one's interesting because it like you said, it hasn't come back. It's not at a 52-week high. It's not even
right.
it's not even at a high of the calendar year.
Yeah,
Right? The high was in February.
right.
So
Maybe a 4-month high. Yeah.
right. So if you're looking for ones, if you're looking at Joby or whatever, and think, oh, I've already missed the move, it's too late. Or you're looking at Coinbase, oh, I missed the breakout. You didn't miss the breakout in Square. There hasn't been a breakout. So,
right.
Maybe that is more appealing on that front.
And I think a lot of people are buying Joby because of the thesis and all that, but a heavily contested stock like Joby, I mean, think Tesla or something like that, where people are constantly going to doubt it. Like, if we are ever flying around in robo-taxis, I promise you there will be multiple 50% drawdowns on the way to that vision.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, 50% is 50% is generous.
Right. So exactly. It's at 80, 90% drawdowns.
Yeah.
But my point is, don't chase those things, don't chase those moves. The fundamental idea, robot taxis are the future. That might be true, but
Yep.
it's a price that you want to pay for everything. And after a 200% rally, it's tough to get too excited.
All right, here's one.
Anyway.
This is from Jeff. LNW. Light and Wonder. Yeah.
Ooh, I like this one.
What the heck is this company? Oh, this used to be Scientific Games?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
What was that company? I always wondered it has such an interesting ticker.
Was that SGMS? Is that what that was? Yeah, it was SGMS, and now it's Light and Wonder. I did not know they changed their name and ticker. Today I learned.
Wow. So what exactly do they do?
Um, I I don't know.
Development
Let's see.
technology-based products, associated content. It operates through the following segments: gaming,
Okay,
sci-fi,
okay.
sci-
They are a provider of gaming products and systems and services to the lottery and parimutuel industries. So they are a
oh, maybe like slot machines.
lottery, yeah, slot machines is what it sounds like.
Wow. Yeah, sports wagering.
Yep.
Interesting. So yeah, this one is a decent looking setup. You have kind of this base. I would like to see it forming on top of the former highs, but the fact that we're back above it is good enough for me for now. Um, I would like it if it broke like 87 here, 86. Call it 86. Yeah, these former highs from last year.
I'd be curious to see how this chart compares with like a generic casino, MGM or Win,
Yeah, take a
because
look.
I don't think they don't look that similar. Actually, yeah, Win and this looks like Win.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was win there.
yeah.
There's
This looks like
also what is the blackjack? Is it BJK or
yeah, yes, that's the ETF.
casino?
Good call. Oh
So
yeah, pretty similar.
yeah, just kind of range bound over the last decade, really.
Hmm.
Man, these things
Interesting.
really haven't been able to get going.
No, if you want to play gaming, the play has been DraftKings. That's been the play.
That's true.
That's been the clear outlier. You look at like LVS, you look at Penn, you look at MGM has been okay.
Man, some of
Uh,
this wagering stuff's getting out of hand, though. The other day I saw you can bet on Elon Musk's
yeah,
side
yeah, yeah, yeah,
versus,
yeah. The Musk versus
yeah.
Zuck thing. Yeah, yeah, I
I
saw
mean, you
that.
could literally bet on anything these days.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing.
Well, why would you bet on stuff when you can just gamble in the stock market? It's way more fun. Um,
I completely agree with you.
okay, for Noel here, what about Suncor Energy, SU? Look at that, forty
Okay, so that
dollars.
one's getting pretty tight there. Um,
Oh my gosh. On the monthly, this thing is like
ooh, you
e-
want to
e-
take a look at the monthly?
every time it gets like above 40.
Just gets uh the
Yeah.
Matumbo treatment, just
Yep.
smacked down every time.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, so I mean, Spencer laid it out. That's clearly resistance to watch, but it is tightening up. Is it gonna test that level again? You would err on that side because the trend leading up to this little consolidation was higher, along with most energy stocks, and you are seeing a nice pickup in energy stocks the last week or so. But trying to kind of come out of this descending triangle here, just as 40s acted as resistance, looks like in the short term, this 29 level, 28, has acted as support several times. If it can break this downtrend line, that would kind of signal maybe the start of this prior uptrend is resuming higher, towards 40 or so. Yeah, 40 is definitely the level to watch. But if it can crack it, that is a huge tell. And if it can break 40, then it could really run.
Yep. Um, Fred reached out to us and asked about Rivian. He goes, it's down. It's down today. I don't know when the email is from. Sorry, I didn't write that down. But whenever he emailed us, he goes, down today. Will it bounce? I don't know what it'll do, but Rivian has doubled in 2 weeks, man. What more do you want from this thing?
Oh man.
What more do you want? It's gone from 13 to 20, almost 26 in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that's really given a lot of boost to some of the electric vehicle ETFs we looked at. I think we looked at them last week. IRDV. There's one that has IDRV. There's one that holds, so this one I believe holds Rivian. You can see though, it's just starting to break out of this nice base. Hold on. Yeah, so this is the one that holds Rivian. There's one that looks very similar called DRIV, but man, these EV stocks have definitely been waking up from the dead, and you're seeing a lot of that this week. Almost like short squeezes. I don't want to call it that because I'm not sure if it's being led by covering or if it's just, risk appetite coming back to the market, or maybe a bit of both.
Wait, what's the short interest on Rivian? Is it high? It's I don't know, 13.5%. I wouldn't call that high.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
yeah,
it's not low, but it's not high.
I don't know. Maybe it's options like market shenanigans. Don't know what's going on here. But I don't know. People who like that's the thing with stocks that come crashing down to earth and then they come back a little bit. People are like, well, we'll keep going. Well, keep going. It just doubled in 2 weeks. Like most stocks don't behave like GameStop in January 2021. That's not normal, right? Like doubling in 2 weeks is pretty damn good.
I saw some tweet yesterday. They were talking about Carvana and they were talking about how it's 10 bagged like a few times
Yeah.
since being public. They were like, this CEO is the best CEO ever. Like,
Oh,
name me a stock that's had more 10 baggers. I'm like, I don't know.
well,
CEO that lets his stock go to one or below one.
yeah, that only works if you didn't say if you sold it if you didn't hold it from 376 to 3.
Right.
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 Yeah. Which I'm sure some people did. Okay, what about Live Nation, LYV? I forget who sent this to us. I didn't write their name down. Um Live events company. I don't know. Actually, doing better than I would have thought. A strong consumer,
Yeah.
supposedly. So
Yeah. Um, so I remember this one had a lot of eyeballs on it during COVID because it was kind of, that reopening trade and everyone was watching how it was being traded to see if what the market thought of reopening potential and things like that. But like you said, not as bad as I thought it might be. Kind of had this little fail breakdown here. Momentum was diverging and couldn't even get oversold. I'm looking at a weekly, so a little higher time frame, but we can drop it down to a daily as well. So I like that it's above this 75, 76 level. Your next stop is these August highs. You want to see these broken. It's close enough to 100 that we'll just call it 100 because that's usually like a nice psychological number. People place orders around that type of stuff all the time. So if it can break 100, probably go looking at 125, but not terrible. I'd be interested to see this on a relative basis. Yeah, not much to say about it on a relative basis, just kind of sideways the last few years. But
Live Nation, yeah, Rachel pointing out they own Ticketmaster. They also own, I don't know what else they own other stuff too. I know that. I mean, I think maybe it's StubHub. I forget what else they own, but I don't know. This is one of those companies. Like I got nothing against the stock, but I got a lot against the actual bit company itself. Like there's no reason that they should exist. The stock is one thing, but the company, the stock, I don't have any feelings. I'm neutral on the stock. I don't care, but the company I hate. Okay, let's go to the YouTube chat. Get some tickers there. De La Riva asking about HBM, Hudbay Minerals. I'm assuming from that name that you're based somewhere near Hudson Bay, Canada. But let's take a look here. This is a $1.8 billion company mining.
Hey, can you see my screen okay, or the full chart okay? I did make a little adjustment. Just want to make sure.
Looks
Okay,
great. Yep.
great. So you said this was what type of mining?
I mean, what do they mine? Let's see what they mine. They mine everything. Copper, gold, silver, zinc, everything.
Interesting. So it's kind of messy, but I like in the short term, I like that it's kind of trying to get above this shelf here. Yeah, you can see that's definitely been resistance the last few. There we go. Right around here, this 550-ish level, 540. has been resistance for pretty much all year, and we're trying to get above that now. If we do, probably move to 630, and then 630 gets you like 860. But definitely working in the right direction, making some higher lows, kind of basing here. There's probably better setups in the mining industry right now.
That's what I was thinking too, right?
Not,
Like,
yeah.
you can probably find something better.
Right.
Here, this is a new one for me from HChan. PCOR, Procore Technologies. This is a construction management software play. So it's like if you are a construction company, I guess you use Procore software to like organize your project and organize your work.
It's so funny. I was just talking to somebody who works for like a construction payroll management company like this.
Yeah.
He was telling me all about it, and it just reminded me like how many niche industries there are out there like that.
So many niche industries.
But so Procore, I like this one. Breaking out. Resistance is around 68, so look for that 68 to 65. Look for that to start acting as support in the near term. I like it if it's above there. Could move back to those like IPO-ish levels around mid 80s on this move. I think that's totally reasonable. I mean, that's not that much further upside, but it's not nothing either. So I would rather be buying on a pullback here towards the breakout level. But I think it ultimately goes higher towards 80.
Well, how many up days in a row? 1, 2, 3, like 6, 7 up days in a row. So that's a big move for a stock that really traded within a range of $20 for kind of like 2 years there.
Yeah.
Right. That's a big move. So okay. What else do we have here? DocuSign. Sure, in honor of today's breakout. I haven't looked at DocuSign, but I believe you. If it's moving with the rest of tech, then yep, sure enough, there it is.
Oh boy. Absolutely gotten washed. And it's part of that theme, with the squares and the ARK stocks. A lot of these things that haven't really participated, they got killed, haven't seen a comeback with the broader market. They're finally starting to work. And this is one of them.
Yeah, I mean,
82% drawdown. Wow.
It's hard for me to get over that, frankly. Okay,
right.
It's hard for me to look back, and maybe that's my own bias creeping in the way of things, and it shouldn't be there. But like, and who's to say it can't come back? It certainly can. But like, gosh, I just think how many people are underwater in this thing. You know what I mean?
Right. I was going to say it's not just you. I think that that is exactly how the market thinks and stuff after a large decline like this. It's really tough to get that momentum to where it was back in 2020 or 2021 when it was flying. People are just burned. So
people got burned real bad.
I would like to see it get above 68. I think PayPal and Square, some of those other stocks that I kind of classify with these, I think I'd rather be in those setups. This one just isn't really far off the ground. It's not even testing resistance yet. So it's tough. It's working on a rounded bottom here. So I think the path of least resistance is higher, but does that mean we want to be buying it? I don't think so. I mean, it will work higher if you're holding it. Probably good to see it not making new lows, but you want to start seeing it breaking resistance and holding those levels. It just hasn't done that yet.
Yeah. Guilty until proven innocent on his stuff.
Yes. Love that quote.
What about for niche cars? Target, which I have ignored because every time I look at Target, it seems like it's going down. It actually hasn't been. It stopped going down. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
It hasn't really gone down for the last.
You remember these few weeks here? I remember on Twitter every day someone would post a chart showing that losing streak in Target because it was just persistently, like you said, every day selling. So this one, the level to watch is right around here. 137 to, let's call it 142, 143. So if it can get above this, that would be a fail breakdown. And as we saw earlier with a couple of these tickers and just in general, if you follow the show, fail breakdowns tend to lead to some pretty spectacular upside moves. So if target's above, let's say let's call it 143. If target's above 143, I think it could really rip. I think you're talking about a move back to 180.
180.
But
Wow.
like you said, it's guilty until proven innocent. So it really needs to get above that. It needs to prove it to you first.
I mean, this stock was a rock. It was a monster. If you look at from 2017 for 4 years, basically, the stock, with the exception of like 1 or 2 months here and there.
Yeah, and that doesn't even tell the full story, because think about what that entire sector was doing too, right? Like retail in general was struggling, but Target was really outperforming.
Because the narrative was that Target and Walmart are the only, and Costco are the only ones that can compete with Amazon.
Oh, right? Yeah. Yep.
And so, specifically Walmart and Target invested super heavily in their e-commerce in the back half of the last decade. And so every quarter it was like, yeah, our e-commerce revenue went way up and that was great, but they've gotten to a point where it's plateaued now. And I mean,
anecdotally, people definitely still go to Target. You try to go to Target here in San Diego on the weekend, parking lot's packed. I mean, it's a big one to go.
My wife is obsessed with Target. I don't understand it, but whatever. Moving on. Let's do like one or two more here, and then I know we started late, but we have to hop. Somebody put Intuit in the chat. Intuit looks so juicy here. Look at that high, the 52-week high. It's not that far away.
No, and that looks really clean.
I'm going to put this on my list, actually.
Yeah, so this one, and you know what's interesting? This one kind of goes along with that Procore theme, because I remember that guy I talked to, he actually mentioned Intuit as a competitor to Procore. So
okay,
maybe there's something going on with that whole payments theme, or that payroll processing type theme. Definitely want to keep an eye on.
That's interesting. ADP is not playing ball there. Okay, but I'm into it though. I'm into it.
Ooh. You're into it.
Oh, that was unintended. I swear that was unintended, but I'm going to take it. I am into it.
You're into it. I'm into it too, because if it breaks this 490 level, I think it could run to 570 around there. But the more important thing to remember is that this thing is a monster uptrend, going back over a decade, right? And since November 21, it's just been a mess. It's just been, you could call this a consolidation maybe within an uptrend, but it's trying to resume that uptrend. So if it does break that 490 level, you got nice runway here. I mentioned 578 as a target. It could definitely run back higher. I think what you'd really want to see from a resumption of an uptrend would be a test of the all-time highs, but that could take a while. That could take at least 6 months or so.
Wait, all-time highs? The all-time high is like $700.
Yeah. So that's why, I'm getting a little too ahead of myself here. I think you want to see it first break out here, then test these 2022 highs, so around 578-ish, like we mentioned, and then all-time highs. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm seeing that 490 is the 52-week high from last August, and it's getting close. So I'm gonna put this one on my radar for sure. I'm gonna put this on my list.
The S&P did it right with no problem, just those August highs. So
that's true.
And I think it's interesting how you see that progression, how you see some of these individual names are now starting to battle with those as well. And a lot of them are resolving higher from those August highs. So,
yep. All right. I think it's a good place for us to wrap. Sorry we started late, everyone, but that's okay. Hope you enjoyed the show. As always, if you have any requests, you can email us, and that's actually what I recommend you do. Email us questions at stockmarketmedia.com. We can't always get to everything, but we do our very best to get to most of them.
There were some really good tickers this week.
Yes. Every week we get a pretty good variety. You guys are pretty good at giving us stuff from different sectors, different market caps, different sometimes ETFs with different AUMs or different amounts of liquidity. You guys are good, so keep them coming. Honestly, we do the show for you. Appreciate the variety, and every so often Pat and I get some good ideas from this as well. Hopefully we helped you as much as you helped us. We'll be back on Tuesday. I'll be back with JC. Same time, same place, 1:00 Eastern time. See you guys then. Until then, keep making money.
All right, take care.